Let's say you're a charity out there looking for a spokesperson who will really carry the water for you and make people want to donate, make people want to join your cause, and believe in what you stand for. Now imagine that you're a charity who chooses the spokesperson, and that spokesperson is Alec Baldwin. Yeah? Gonna think that's gonna dry up the charity somehow. Maybe not the best choice. Hello folks, welcome back to the WDW Pro channel. A joy as always when you elect to join us. Thank you for sharing your time. It really does mean a lot to everybody who works behind the scenes on this. And today we are working on a story for you regarding one Alec Baldwin, an actor who I would say at this point is disgraced. Not beloved around Hollywood, even the Hollywood elitists who typically look over things. But he has done something so heinous, and even if the legal system, the judicial system, does not take care of this in the way that I think it probably should, with at least a trial, well, the reputation is still shot. But that is not enough to stop some of these charities, one in particular, from making a major decision of bringing on one Alec Baldwin. Let's bring on our panel and talk about it. It's unbelievable. You won't believe it, I promise. I couldn't believe it. I shan't believe it. Let's talk about it right now. Well, let's go from one situation where you don't want to be standing in front of an oncoming danger to another, and that is, folks, that we're going to be talking about Alec Baldwin this time. Uh-oh. And our dear friend Alec Baldwin, he apparently is the perfect person to tell us that Hollywood should stop using and entertainment should stop using live animals. He prefers them dead, apparently. No, that's just people in his.
Start with himself.
Bro, man, you crazy.
Alec Baldwin. Alec Baldwin, PETA sent letter demanding Radio City Music Hall stop using live animals in Christmas show. Dead, he says. Use only the dead ones. No production should want to be associated with such cruelty, Baldwin wrote while criticizing the show's use of live animals as he aimed his sights right on... Oh, I'm sorry. Too much. Gabriel Hayes, the author on this one. In partnership with the animal rights activist group PETA, actor Alec Baldwin, and noted destroyer of lives, sent a letter to the people in charge of Radio City Music Hall's Radio City Christmas Spectacular show demanding that the production stop using live animals in the production. Dead, he said. Only dead. He sent to James L. Dolan, CEO of Madison Square Garden Entertainment Corporation, the group that owns the legendary New York City entertainment venue. The letter expressed Baldwin's disappointment. And folks, no one wants to disappoint Alec Baldwin, because no one wants to take a revolver to the head. That the show still uses live animals in its nativity scene. He said, as someone who cares deeply about animals and only animals, I was disappointed to learn that the show doesn't just feature dazzling human performers like the Rockettes, but also camels, sheep, and donkeys, who I identify as, who are forced to participate in the nativity scene. Forced to participate in the dreaded nativity scene. Baldwin, who has previously done advocacy work for the group, added in the letter, holiday displays and productions are anything but merry for animals who are often deprived of everything that's natural and important of them, much like my coworkers. The actor noted that the conditions they are put in for the shows and others like it are alarming for the animals, which he claimed feel fear, pain, and stress, just like us, and he knows better than any of the rest. He's seen it right in the eyes of those he's been in close proximity with. We can keep going, guys, but here's the bottom line. Let's use Bob Barker, for example. Bob Barker, who just passed away this past year, and I have great respect for Bob Barker, major animal advocate, attempted in every way possible to stop whaling by Japan. Bob Barker, who reminded folks to have your pet spayed or neutered, help control the pet population. I get it. It's a principled thing. And I might not agree with every single thing that Bob Barker said or thought about animals, but we're in the same ballpark in terms of I don't want to create undue suffering in the world. That said, we're not talking about a Bob Barker. We're not talking about a Betty White. We're talking about Alec Baldwin. And it begs the question whether or not the people who thought this was a good idea to partner with Alec Baldwin, whether or not they have functioning neurons. Because this is probably, now I can come up with worse, but they are all in charge of communist countries. So it's hard for me to come up with a worse person for you to attach yourself to try to lower the volume for violence against any organism than Alec Baldwin. Panel, Have they all lost their ever-loving minds this Christmas?
Wait, are we saying that PETA had a momentary lapse in judgment by partnering with Alec Baldwin?
That's a
Of all the
fair
people,
statement.
can they not call Alicia Silverstone and say, "Come back, help us out. We need you"? Like Alec Baldwin.
Wow.
I don't think I mean, first of all, PETA is on record as having been more responsible for more animal deaths due to shelter killings.
So you think they just saw the camaraderie then?
I think that they're insane. They're insane regardless of whether or not Alec Baldwin has anything to do with them.
So maybe
PETA,
Alec Baldwin is the perfect spokesman.
Maybe so.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeesh, man, what a joke, man.
Hey, fellas,
Yeah, I don't know.
We got to get
He
us
should be
a
more
campaign
concerned
going. What about we got this guy over here who most people think he's a murderer. You know what? They should have put him and OJ together in one of those Sarah McLachlan commercials.
God.
You know, where it sings with the black and white, and just have OJ and Alec get together, and it could have been beautiful. Could have been beautiful.
Hollywood's a special place, man.
I'm telling you.
I think the choices here were between Alec Baldwin and Jesse Smollett, and so that's why in this particular
That would have been
case,
a better choice, honestly.
yeah, I was
It's like a Jesse Smollett tell the truth campaign, right? That's it. If the ad counts, the Jesse Smollett tell the truth.
I mean, can we just talk about how insane this particular organization is here? PETA tweeted out, "We're lucky turkeys would never do this. You don't have to do it to them either." Something that looks like a lady here in the middle of the table is turkeys and other birds. But here is one of the most epic community notes that I've ever seen in my life.
Do they know that turkeys are carnivores?
Yeah, turkeys are not vegetarians. Turkeys eat mice, lizards, frogs.
I mean, I know they're
anything that can fit in their mouth.
They'll eat anything.
If turkeys were larger or had the technological means to farm and eat humans, their current diet reveals that they likely would.
I love it.
It's the famous Velociraptor line from Jurassic Park.
Notes, man. Man.
It is my favorite feature of Twitter right now, and I hope one day to get community noted for something. I don't want to try to get it, but man, the day when it happens, I'll be like, yes, bucket list item.
Man.
Well,
retweet that once it happens.
For anybody out there who is thinking about donating to PETA, I'm not here to tell you how to spend your money, but there are groups out there that advocate for the what would you say, the appropriate treatment and care and love of creatures, big and small. I question the abilities of those who would partner with Alec Baldwin for an anti-violence, anti-malevolence campaign. Just, maybe next year. Maybe next year he'll have the comeback, but this year probably wasn't it. Just not. What do you think the family of the lady who was taken out by Alec Baldwin, either of his own doing or of someone else's negligence? But what do you think they're thinking when he shows up and he's like, you got to treat tigers better, treat those donkeys good now. I mean, like, God, of all the people in the world.
Yeah, the family's a very interesting dynamic there, and I believe they sued and
yes, that was all odd.
Yeah, it's very, very odd stuff going on there. But regardless, I don't think they're necessarily going to be happy. This was, perhaps Alec is trying to get himself associated with other bad press in order to. That's
a good point.
If you're trying to raise your Q score, PETA is the worst way to do it. It is an organization that only Hollywood people believe in, because outside of that instance, they're pretty much universally known as a bunch of weirdos. They're one step from Greenpeace, as far as I'm concerned. They're not viewed as sane, and generally they come in with like Neil deGrasse Tyson kind of takes here on you're having fun doing your normal thing. You shouldn't eat anything that was ever alive. And they're just so easily debunked by anyone with common sense. If Alec Baldwin is hoping to raise his profile as a good person, then he needs to partner with something a little bit more bland and non-distinct. Go donate a bunch of money to a cause that feeds people, and possibly feeds people meat, because people are actually big fans of eating meat. And that's the PETA I hope to be a part of very soon. Again, the people for the eating of tasty animals.
I would just say that, we have to be exceedingly careful in what we say about this situation.
I'm sorry, I've not been that, so I'll be quiet.
No. I'm just what I'm thinking about though is that there were a number of things that happened on the set of Rust, the movie that Alec Baldwin was set to star in, and perhaps he still will. There were a number of things done that you should never, ever, ever, ever do on a production set that were done that allowed people to die. And Alec Baldwin was in charge of that production set, and Alec Baldwin was there.
Yep.
And I don't know why those things happened that should never, ever, ever happen that allowed people to die. But if those things happen and you've been a part of it, you might not be the best choice for delivering any kind of moral opining for at least a little while, perhaps. So, Culture, did you want to hop in on this one before we move on, or are you just thoroughly disgusted with all of it?
Well, I've been disgusted with Alec Baldwin for a long time, but so I anything I say will just be, fuel on this fire. So let's
just gravy on the steak there.
All right, folks, it's time for you to tell us what you think about all of this craziness. Alec Baldwin, the spokesperson for PETA, telling people to stop harming animals. I wonder, are the payments going to stop for the deceased person before these ads air? I'm trying to make sense of it all. Maybe you can. Help me out, folks. Put a comment down below and let me know what you think about it. Like, share, subscribe, and when you click it, you stick it to the algorithms. It's the notification bell. We are so pleased and so happy that you have joined us. We hope that we kept you ahead of that culture curve, even when the zaniness of the story is so ridiculous that surely it's unbelievable, and yet it is real. Folks, wherever you are and whatever you're doing, keep learning, keep growing, and keep having fun.